You know, in Baghdad, when we would patrol around, every once in a while we would, about this time here, call to prayer. This time during Ramadan, or when the heat was about 130 degrees, and we would hear from a minaret. Yeah, a place where we thought we were overwatching. The intel said that it was a Sunni mosque. From the megaphone we would hear, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal faraju wa qila' al-adu wa ansur qurru maqla' 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 ya Allah, ya Muhammad, ya Ali, ya Mahdi. And that was not the call to prayer. Our intel was wrong, and if you know your history, our intel was not always correct during that operation. But what we found, what was so surprising, it wasn't a Sunni mosque, it was a Shia call to prayer. It was a Shia political rally, calling people to action. Muqtada al-Sabr's Jaysh al-Mahdi, the Mahdi militia army, was the force that we were looking at the most. And our intel was wrong. I was surprised not because our intel was wrong, but because this area was a Sunni area, what we thought it was. For centuries, the Shia people would be told by their political leaders, by their elders, by those in their community who felt they knew better, if you're ever in danger of losing your life, or your job, or your political friends, you don't have to expose and express who you are. You don't have to come out with your identity. You can closet yourself. This was a philosophy called the Taqiyya. And Taqiyya said that it's better for you to do God's work on earth than to be doing something stupid like giving up your life, like risking it all, like setting our movement back a decade. And as I consider now, 5 years ago, I started speaking, and 4 years ago I spoke at the LSP Tokus Club. We have some wonderful people from the Tokus Club that are here today. I'm glad that 4 years later, I found the right club to go to. I can say that because Reese from the Tokus Club is talking right now, and so I don't have to worry about offending him too much. He's hitting on something. I don't think it's going to work out. Also in Iraq, yeah, I was making fun of you the whole fucking time, Grace. Also in Iraq, I would go before leaders in a political, difficult time, when tribal leaders would kill each other for their affiliation to the positions they took on certain bills. I would go up in front and share a very famous poem known throughout the Middle East from Al-Mutanabbi. 700 years ago, hundreds of years, we come with this pronounced dogma. Al-Khayr wal-Layl wal-Bida muja'ifni Musayf wa-Rum al-Tas wa-Qalam Ana ila nadra al-Yama li-sha'ri wa-asma kalimat min bihi as-sama. The horses in the night in the desert, they know who I am. They know me. The pen and the scroll, the sword and the spear, they know who I am. They know me. I am the one that can make the deaf to hear my poetry, and I am the one that makes the blind to read my prose. They know who I am. They know me. Very powerful poem of identity that, compared to Taqiyya, where for your own political expediency, you can put something behind, your identity can come behind, and then you're faced with this poem. They know who I am. They know me. Living under Don't Ask, Don't Tell was living under a Shia political philosophy called a Taqiyya. And I'm very happy to tell you that although I believe in nonviolence, I learned more from my previous career as a professional military man, as a soldier, and as a West Point graduate. And I've used those skills for the gay movement. It is an edifying moment for all of us here today who feel that only certain people of certain careers, of certain branding, of certain organizational skills, or of certain resumes, or of certain races, certain privileges or identities should be the only ones that take positions of leadership in our movement. I believe that anybody here in an equal society should be given the equal opportunity to lead and to show your voice in a place like this. I asked me to talk to you about leadership and what does that mean? And I wonder why so many people ask that. Because leadership is not so easy to see. It's not like child pornography, that you can see it or you can know it when you see it. Actually, sometimes leadership is a little bit like child pornography. In fact, a lot of politics is very sexual when we talk about who is in power and who isn't. I'm not going to get too far into this because I'm not very good comedian, but what I am going to talk about today is what I see is leadership. What is leadership? It's not about who looks better naked, although that has seemed to help in history. It's not about who has the most money. It's not about who stands up the tallest. It's not about who mimics Dr. Martin Luther King the best. You see, back in the 1960s, Dr. Martin Luther King was fighting different kinds of stereotypes for his different kind of community. And so if we're expecting somebody to come up here and pretend that they're Ralph Abernathy or Fred Shuttlesworth, then you're not looking for the right person. When you look at a leader, and this is for everybody who gets to see and examine and judge leaders going forward, you look at sacrifice. Who is willing in this room to sacrifice more than the other one? That's your leader. And when I look at all the people that are in this room, that are represented in this room, all the issues, I've been told about gentrification, I've been told about Bradley Manning, I've been told about marriage equality, ENDA, don't ask, don't tell. I've talked to some of them. But my leaders are the homeless youth. Those kids who, because of integrity, gave up everything, sacrificed everything, and today they're fighting on the front lines. That's leadership. It's not that they can wear a tie in a Windsor or Douglas. And that integrity is why they're leaders. See, a leader's not always rich. A leader's not always the best that makes the most money. Those are politicians. And politicians have to lead too. But what I'm talking about is a gay leader that will rise from our own people. Who will it be? And I'm telling you that it will be you, 27-year-old Tom Temprano here. I have asked all of the leadership of this organization whether, and if you are a member of the leadership of this organization, this great organization, can you take a seat right now? Because I want to ask you a question that you can visibly respond to in front of everybody, in front of this club. I've asked you what the issues facing our LGBT community are, particularly in this local area, and I've heard many causes. But I would like for you to stand up one by one. And Tom, if you could get one of the roll of the, on the bulletins, naming off some of the names and helping me out here. If you could come up here first, because I know your answer. Tom, do you commit in this year to engage in a direct action, risking arrest, going to jail in the name of your community? And what would the issue that speaks to you most be? As you step up here, would you tell us in the microphone? But all you do is
I would go to jail, and I will go to jail in this year to make sure that this city that I love, that I came to 10 years ago, is a city that someone like me can come to 10 years from now and still be able to call home, still be able to have drinks, and still be able to afford 10 years from now. I will go to jail for that. I have Peter Delata, our Vice President of Internal Affairs. I'm just going to name them off. I have Laura Thomas, our Vice President of External Affairs. I have Deborah Cleaver, our Executive Board Internal. Alex Walker, our Executive Board Political. Max Siegel, our treasurer. I have Sue Englander, our fabulous correspondent. Sam Merlot, our recorder. The lovely Kat Forrester, our events and fundraising chair. Lee Hepner, our executive board organizing. William Walker, our executive board outreach. Nate Albee, our executive board outreach. Anaconda, our ex officio past president. And I have Stephen Torres, our at-large board member.
This organization. Now I'm asking this august group here, you will put into positions of leadership by your peers, by your elders, by the future generations 30 years from now who don't have a chance to be here right now. And they'll ask you, Grandma, Grandpa, when in 2013 this was happening, do you commit this year, within this 1 year, to engage in an act of civil disobedience, to lead your people, to tell them that sacrifice is worthwhile in our time, in our borrowed, short, and fleeting time? Will you do it? Will you raise your hand? Yes.
Uh-oh, a couple left hands.
To be here with you, whatever the issue it may be. Thank you, leaders. We don't know what's going to come out of this group, because during the conversations that we had, we said gentrification was a major cause that we should all be fighting for. But I know this. That when you put your leaders on the spot, when you call them by name, when you tell them that sacrifice is worthwhile, it is worth paying attention to, you will accomplish the goals that we set out to achieve to begin with. And we'll be back and we'll see what we come up with. Now, as far as the question that has been on most people's minds for me, as far as what am I particularly going to do to serve, I've heard this a lot. I've heard this at my table. Do you ever want to go back into the United States Army, they ask. I hear some people laugh. I think sometimes that is a very funny question. It'd be very ironic that we would use principles of nonviolence in order to gain entry for our people into the most violent organization in the history of empires. I personally believe that the military could be better used for humanitarian rescue and emergency operations. In fact, I'm learning that the word decimated is a word that we use. We could decimate our forces, cut it into 10 pieces and only keep one of those 10 pieces. And be even more effective in creating a longer lasting peace against the terrorism that uses force of fear. I want to bore you a little bit, if you bear with me. The